Hey everybody, it's Monday night and I just fed everybody. Actually, I'm still in the process of feeding everybody, but I got the algae wafers thrown in the tank, and as I was making my way around again to put the floating wafers in the tank, you know, the crisps or whatever they're called, the flake food as I think of it, I noticed that my crayfish was out. It was out a little more in the open, but by the time I got in the other room and got my camera and got back in here, it sort of crawled back under the rocks again a little bit. I had been wondering the other day whether or not we still had a crayfish in here. I thought there was at least one left in here. I saw it not too long ago, but I wasn't sure if the one was the only one that was in here. And right now, as I'm looking around the tank, I don't see any other crayfish anywhere. See a little bit of drama. So if I move away a little bit, you can see how many fish are huddled right there in front of where that crayfish is. And he's just laying low and hiding underneath that rock. On the few occasions that some of the lower swimming fish, these white sucker fish in particular, have come right out in front of him, he sort of grabbed at him. And I don't think it's a predatory, I think it's more of a defensive. He just sees these big fish in front of him and he sort of tries to fend them off by raising his claws like that. One of the things crayfish will do defensively is if a predator is coming up to them, they will face the predator and they'll get up on their legs, they'll stand up as tall as they can, and they'll spread their front claws way out and open them up wide. And it looks as though they are trying to look intimidating, like they're going to pinch you or grab you or tear you up with their claws or whatever. And that may be part of it. I can't claim to know exactly what's going on in the mind of a crayfish, but a lot of that also has to do with making it look too big to fit in the fish's mouth. When they've got their claws spread out and splayed out and they're up on their legs and everything, their profile triples in size. They look much, much bigger. So any fish that thought it might be able to just scoop one up and have a small snack might have second thoughts about just how big that crayfish actually is when it sees it like that. So that's generally what you see when the crayfish are like rearing up like that and raising their claws like that. It's not so much of a "I'm going to get you" type posture. It's more of a "look how big I am, you can't eat me" kind of posture. At least that's my interpretation of it. Again, I don't, I can't claim to know exactly what's going on in the mind of a crayfish, if anything at all, nor am I going to claim I fully understand their behavior. But that's always been my impression of it. It's more of a size thing than it is, and that's based on their behavior afterwards. You never see them go after any of the fish. They always tend to back away while still in that position, and so I've always interpreted it more of a defensive position rather than an offensive position. So now that it's back hiding in its cave, I'm going to get back on with feeding everybody. I'm still trying to have a last look around at some of these lower spots and some of these other caves to see if maybe we can see a glimpse of the other one. I don't know if it's still in there or not. It's my sailfin pleco back there. I love that fish. Probably going to have to be doing something about it here pretty soon. It's getting kind of big for this tank, even though it's a 125. It is going to outgrow it eventually at some point, and if I do switch this tank over to being more of a South American cichlid tank, he could probably stay, but not indefinitely. Like I said, eventually that fish is going to get to be very large and is going to need to be rehomed at some point. So there you go, just a quick little impromptu look at my crayfish. It is still in there, and once we get the tank behind me that you can hear waterfall running, once that gets up and running, we're going to have, or I should say cycled in. It's currently running, but it's not cycled in yet. And once it is cycled in, we're going to start getting some of the animals out of here. We're going to take that crayfish out of here, and we're going to try to catch some of these smaller fish out of here as well, and start working on getting that other tank set up. So make sure you're subscribed, and you won't miss any of that or anything else. You never know what it's going to be with me. And, of course, make sure you've got the notification on when I do a live stream, which is going to be a spur-of-the-moment kind of thing for me when I'm in the mood to do it. I'll be doing it, And if you've got that notification bell rung, then you will not miss my live stream. So do that. Make sure you're subscribed. Thanks for enjoying this one, and I hope to see you real soon on the next one.